भगवान श्री योगी रामसूरतकुमार की जय। सर्वं योगी रामसूरतकुमारार्पणमस्तु। Today, we have come across another change from tomorrow. The ashram will remain closed for 1 week. So this is only to make us feel how precious these sessions are, that we are able to gather at all in the powerful presence of Bhagwan and sing His name. We have offered those Nama lotuses at the feet of Bhagwan before we submit our today's prayer. We shall have glimpses of the experiences of two devotees who had been recently struck with this coronavirus, how Bhagwan came to their rescue. Now, Lata and Venkatesh been coming to the ashram for quite a number of years. They would attend the medical camp without fail, every medical camp without fail, volunteering their help. Now recently, Shri Venkatesan narrated the story. Lata's sister, elder sister, Leela, and her husband, Veeraraju, they were not particularly devoted to Bhagwan, nor did they chant his name. But suddenly, this Veeraraju got this infection and he had to be rushed to the hospital. His lungs were damaged and he was put in the ICU. Now, as soon as the news reached Lata and Venkatesan, who keep chanting the name so much for everything, despite the fact that Veeraraju was not devoted to Bhagwan, they started chanting. The only resort is Yogi Ramsuratkumar Nama, so they began. And of course, Lata's sister Leela also joined, and the three of them were chanting and chanting and chanting vigorously and rigorously, just for the sake of Veeraraju. though he was not devoted. Now this incident shows how Bhagwan came to the rescue of this Veeraraju despite his indifference to Bhagwan. They sent a photograph of Bhagwan which was kept on his chest. They had put this oxygen mask, and he said even then he felt the heat and he was finding it very difficult to breathe. But when they sent this photograph of Bhagwan and it was kept on his chest, suddenly he found this breathing easing up. And then slowly, it resumed normalcy. But when they removed the photograph from his chest, once again it became difficult to breathe. So he kept it on now, knowing what difference it made. And they, at home, these people, Lata, Venkatesh and Leela, they kept on chanting Bhagwan's Nama. At one point, Lata and Venkatesh, they were desperate. And then they prayed to Bhagwan, whatever namas we have chanted so far, if there is a benefit from this chanting, please give it to Veeraraju. Make him all right. The benefit of all our namas. When they prayed desperately, Veeraraju found himself easing up. The breathing slowly, gradually became better and better. And to his great surprise and wonder, he found in that ICU nearby a butterfly. He wondered how this butterfly could have come in at all. It was well closed. Just see, Veeraraju himself did not pray, nor did he chant, but for his sake, the devotees, with faith in the Nama, chanted, and that's made everything better. Yesterday we saw in the case of Dr. Thangamariyappan, he said after he went to Chennai, his visits to the temple became infrequent and his bhakti, his devotion to Bhagwan went into a corner of his mind. And how he was saved despite all that. And today we see even non-believers, how they are saved if there are believers who could do this prayer and Nama chanting for their sake. We shall move on to another scene. Sri Vijay Bhaskar, he had the habit of making photos of great masters as screensavers. When he came across the pictures of Yogi Ramsuratkumar, he wanted, as was his habit, to make this photo also as a screensaver. And no matter how many photos he tried out, it never came on the screen, to his surprise. And then he gave up. He didn't think much of it. He left it at that. At one point, he started to learn yoga from a yoga master. The yoga master has two gurus. Sri Suruli Swamiji, and then another Mahatma. The two of them, I think their Mahasamadhis are in a place called Kiranur near Trichy. So he also adopted. He thought if Yoga Master had Sri Shurli Swamiji and Sri Tangam Swamiji, then they are his gurus also. One day when he was going on the road near Dindigul, this thought was passing through his mind that I have got two Mahagurus, Sri Suruli Swami and Sri Tangam Swami. I am very fortunate. Just at that moment, a jeep took over his vehicle, and it was moving in lightning speed, and in a flash he saw Yogi Ramsuratkumar name in the back of the car, the jeep. He could, even it was moving with such speed, but even then he caught the name. Even that was a wonder to him, how when the jeep was nearly flying, he could still catch the name, and that in a flash. Just when he was thinking that those two, the Mahagurus, were his gurus also, this name appeared all of a sudden and disappeared. He found it very strange, but he remembered. Then soon after, one day when he went to Yoga Master's house, just opposite to Sri Suruli Swami's photo, there was this Saranagatam issue of the ashram, and right on the front cover was a beautiful photograph of Yogi Ramsuratkumar. Again, he was wonderstruck that just opposite to Sri Suruli Swamiji, that this picture of Yogi Ramsuratkumar should be lying. And he asked his yoga master how this picture, this Saranagatam, came. He said it was wrong address. He never applied for it, he never subscribed, but it somehow found its way to his place. And for the past 1 week, he did not even open it, he had left it there. Immediately, Vijay Bhaskar thought there was some link, some hint, something meant for him. Something prompted from inside to take this, asked his yoga master, and took this picture home. And immediately his wife said, "Oh, Yogi Ramsuratkumar Bhagwan is visiting us. He has come to our home." Immediately he understood that that is the truth, that Bhagwan has come and settled down in his house. So that is how they started chanting his name, remembering Bhagwan Yogi Ramsuratkumar. And one day again, he found himself with very high temperature. His lungs were affected already 70%. He also found breathing very difficult, and he had to be rushed to the hospital. And there, in the ICU, because his wife and children were not allowed, they had to stay back at home. But then his wife, when he found that he was stuck with corona, she became desperate. She was so scared. And then she started chanting Yogi Ramsuratkumar Nama. She and the children. And they were chanting all the time at home, praying for Sri Vijay Bhaskar's welfare. And Sri Vijay Bhaskar, to his surprise, the doctors had said actually when he was admitted in the emergency, they said they would give only 3 days, 72 hours. And after that only they could say whether he could be saved at all. So the deadline was there. So all the 3 days, the wife and the children were chanting. And of course, Sri Vijay Bhaskar also, all the time, finding it difficult to breathe. He was put on ventilator. After 3 days, suddenly things began to change, improve. Slowly, the breathing returned to normal. And then the doctor said, oh, now everything has improved. To his surprise, to his own surprise, he said, now there is no danger anymore. He is out of it. He will become all right soon. Sri Vijay Bhaskar says, in that ICU, there were many people already admitted of different age groups, struggling to breathe. It was so pathetic, the way they had all been suffering in one way or the other. There was even a pregnant lady who was only in her middle 50s. To his horror, he found that lady passing away, and others were still struggling. There was no improvement. But in his case, he improved. He picked up health very fast, got cured, and was discharged in 7 days. After 1 week, he was discharged. Sri Vijay Bhaskar says, it's all the glory of Yogi Ramsuratkumar Nama. When he could see very clearly how everybody was affected and suffering around, he alone was saved. And the progress was also fast, and within a week's time he was out of the hospital. Now when we see these COVID cases, how everyone has been helped in different ways, we do not know, even in the case of absence of devotion, or in the case where there was only a little devotion, we do not know what is involved, but we know that at least others can chant, and the benefit they derive is very reassuring. So we know now, again and again, from all these experiences, that all it takes is desperate chanting of the name in the circumstances, and then it works. So let's always remember, because Bhagwan's Nama is our only resort. So we should submit our today's prayer also at the feet of Bhagwan. Now the ashram is going to close tomorrow. They say that the pandemic and the panic now steadily increasing in Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, of course Kerala. And so Tamil Nadu is alarmed. And they're closing the temples for 3 days. And after that also we have to continue to be careful for some time. And so the ashram will remain closed from tomorrow for a week. We shall appeal to the generosity and compassion of Bhagwan for this huge grace. One compassionate glance from Bhagwan would change everything. But we must keep on appealing until it happens. Bhagwan, we beg you 1,000,000 times for your immediate divine intervention to free the entire humanity. We see in all these experiences how you come to the help of individuals at the chanting of the name. In the case of Sri Vijaya Bhaskar, his wife, when she was chanting at home, she imagined Bhagwan standing there near Vijaya Bhaskar and stroking his chest with his fan. With this imagination, she was chanting. And you see how it worked. In the other case, they just kept the photograph on his chest. And it eased up the breathing difficulty. But Bhagwan, it is happening in individual cases. We want your immediate divine intervention for the entire humanity. Only you can do it. Only your blessing can do it. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.